If you've been watching some of my recent videos, then you know that I've been working away on cleaning up the front end of the 4runner here. So I've already replaced the front light bar. I put a new LED light bar on the front here, and I restored the headlights. They were looking pretty crappy. So the last piece of the puzzle here that I think we need to do to spruce up this front end is we've got to deal with this grille. So this is the original one, and as you can see, the old owner of the 4runner before I bought it, he plasti dipped these emblems and they're all chipped up. The paint on it is not looking great. It's a little faded. So anyways, I'm going to be upgrading to a TRD Pro grille on this. And yes, I know Toyota never actually made a TRD Pro 4th gen, but luckily there's plenty of aftermarket grills out there available. And I'm going to show you which one I'm going with. Also, by the way, I have a lot of people asking me about this bug deflector, and it's a Toyota one. That's really all I can tell you. And from the sounds of it, of all the people angrily responding to me saying, I can't find it, my dealer can't get it, it sounds like they were only sold in Canada. So for all you lovely Americans, sorry, but tough noogies, I don't think you can get one. One more side note, some of you guys have been commenting and asking about the MR2 here. And don't worry, it's going to be in future videos still. I don't have a whole lot going on with it right now. It's the middle of winter time here, but you'll be seeing it in lots more future videos, don't worry. So this is the grille that I've gone with. This is from Trail Runner Customs. I'm going to be real with you guys here. Now, yes, it's made in China. And yeah, they're pretty much all made in China. There's a whole bunch of people online that are selling these things. And realistically, they're pretty much all coming from AliExpress. And it's mostly drop shippers that are just making a quick buck. Now, the reason that I recommend you buy yours from Andrew at Trail Runner Customs is that he's actually buying these and holding the inventory himself. So he's buying them, having them shipped to him, and then he goes through and he assesses the quality. And if any of them have defects or the manufacturing just isn't up to par, up to his standards, he won't sell it to you. So he's acting as a middleman in between there and really weeding out the lesser quality or defective ones. Everything came really neatly packaged. You can tell he's got a lot of pride in what he's doing right now. And so we've got a TRD Pro grill. This is like a 3D printed grill. It's just ABS plastic. And then we've got the emblem here that's going to clip in the center. And he also includes a set of 3 RAPTOR lights. And some of you might remember a previous video that I made where I kind of roasted people for running RAPTOR lights on their 4runners. Anyways, I'm going to be installing them because I want to do a full installation here, and I guess I kind of shouldn't knock it till I try it. So I'm going to set them up on the 4runner and just see if I like them or if I hate them. Now, I did a poll on Instagram, and I thought this was going to be obvious, but I asked guys, like, what do you think I should do? Should I just leave this bare black plastic? Should I color match the entire thing to match the 4runner, shadow gray? The vast majority of people voted for just mounting it the way it is, just all black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it unpainted first, and kind of like the RAPTOR lights, don't knock it till you try it. I want to see what it looks like unpainted. Okay, for starters, I just disconnected the hood latch here. This is just 2 10mm bolts. We have about 8 of these nuts that we have to loosen off. We have to remove these around basically the top edge of the grill in order to take the grill off the hood. And as you can see, mine are looking a little crusty. I'm not looking forward to this. They're a little questionable. So I already sprayed them with some penetrating oil to let it sit for a little bit, but I have to be really careful to make sure I don't break these things off. All right, well, as predicted, these 4 bolts across the top here, they were all either completely rusted solid or broken as soon as I touched them. So I had to track down some new hardware that I should just be able to replace with. But we got the old grill off finally. And man, these Canadian vehicles, even just swapping a simple grill is no joke. I had to kind of go off script, off the instructions. I took the grill off of this bracket and had this bracket still mounted to the truck because the 2 upper bolts were just spinning and I needed to grab onto the other end with vice grips. So I just took everything off kind of just in the wrong order, but it all came off okay. So this bracket we're going to swap onto the new grill and it's intact. It's all good. So Okay, I think I got everything swapped over now. I got one of these brackets on each side, needs to go on first, and then the metal frame with all 5 screws across, and the bracket over here. I've got these, reused the bolts from this side, these rectangular head bolts. So I think we're ready to throw the bolts in the top here, and we're ready to mount the grill. Okay, I got the grill mounted up, and I've got all my new hardware on here. I was able to reuse one of them, but so it's all tightened up. It's nice and solid, and all I got left to do is just reconnect the hood latch, and we should be good to go. Alright, it's the next day. I'm just kind of fitting this in whenever I have time. So I got the grill mounted. This hood latch, in Andrew's instructions, he mentioned to flip this and put it on the other side of the plastic in order to keep enough tension on this rod for it to function properly. And in my case, I don't know if I've got something bent, because there were some broken things on my original grill. I think somebody sat on the front end of this truck or something. So I'm not sure if this is just specific to my 4runner, but doing it that way still didn't get me enough tension on this thing to actually release the latch. So what I ended up doing was just stacking a couple washers in here, and that just spaced it down a little bit more, and maybe a 1/4 of an inch at the most. But now that's enough that I can come down and the latch will work now. So now it's a nice smooth operation. So it was one adjustment that I had to make. In terms of fitment, everything is pretty good. Let me just show you. Snap it right down. So it looks good. Like, fitment is good. Next up, I'm gonna mount some Raptor lights. So I was just looking at my computer there, trying to look at what the actual Ford Raptor grill looks like, and I'm trying to figure out the spacing of where to mount these, because I can clip them anywhere in this grill. And so obviously the center one goes here, but I'm trying to figure out if I put the next one here and keep the 3 close together in the center here, or if I skip over one, so I have the center and then the next one over here, so it's a little bit wider. And it seems like that's how it is on the Raptor, but let's keep in mind that the Raptor is way wider than a 4runner. The good thing is these lights just clip into the grill with these little clips, so if I don't like the way I have them spaced, I can pop them back out and stick them anywhere. But anyways, let's wire this up, and I'm just going to follow Andrew's instructions of how he did it in his video as well. One other thing I want to mention real quick is there were the 2 plastic ears that mount right here on the grill. I don't think they really do anything. I think they might have just kind of pinched in the original rubber seal on the one end or something. I don't know. But it was kind of causing this metal bracket to not quite seat all the way on the new grill, and so I popped those out. They weren't really offering any help anyways, so I think that helped the clearance a little bit. So that's something to keep in mind for anybody else installing these. I actually just removed those myself, and it doesn't seem like they were doing anything, so feel free to do that too. All right, so I've chosen my locations for my Raptor lights. I went with the wider version. I think that's probably gonna look okay. And so now I'm just working on the wiring, and we have the harness that he includes in the kit So these have connectors that snap in. I fished it through behind this hood insulator and then ran it along down here. You probably saw in the last clips. Then the wiring comes down underneath the cowl. And so next up, this rubber grommet that goes into the firewall. I already have some wiring running through there already. I've already cut into that. So I've got my handy dandy coat hanger fished through there and just tied up the wiring to the end of it. So I'm going to be pulling this through into the firewall, into the cabin, and tapping into the fuse box in there. Okay, so I've got the wiring run through the firewall now, and I'm going to be tapping into the fuse block under the dash with one of these little Adafuse guys. So you can see where this wire came in through that grommet up top, and I'm just going to route this up in behind here because I'm going to tap into one of these fuses. I think I'm going to do what Andrew did in his instructions. Makes sense to me. This is the cigarette lighter fuse, just a 10 ampere. I'm going to tap into that one because that one gets power when the vehicle's turned on and not when it's turned off. So it'll essentially have the Raptor lights running like running lights. Alright, so I've got my Adafuse here, and I've got a 7.5 amp fuse on this side where the wire is coming in, and then the original 10 amp one beside it. So now we want to plug this into where the cigarette lighter was plugged in, fuse, with the fuses to the right. Okay, got a nice tight fit there. Pop the lid back on. And I think, I also grounded it to this bolt here. And if I am going to end up keeping these on the truck, then I will clean up the wiring a little bit. But for now, I just want to test it out. So now they should come on when we have power to the truck. Let's see what we got. Alright, there we go. We have a TRD Pro grill on a 4th Gen 4runner with functioning Raptor lights. And those are wired in just as if they're factory, so I like it. I think it looks pretty good. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the Raptor lights or not, but if this is the look you're going for, I think this is definitely a good way to go. Now, in terms of leaving the grill unpainted, I know you guys voted to leave it all black, but I'm still not quite convinced. I think I'm going to end up paint matching it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the center part black, and I'm going to paint the outside surround color matched shadow mica, and I think that's going to be a better look. But as of now, we have the grill on, and I'm going to save that for another video in the future. So whenever I do make that video, I'm going to go ahead and link it here. Until then, I'll put another video there for you to watch. But hopefully you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. See ya.